Hi all, welcome to the final whistle for another match preview then. This weekend, Leicester take on the Tottenham Hotspur. A big game. Can Leicester get back-to-back wins against the opposition? Actually make it back-to-back wins. Last time round wasn't kind enough to us with obviously Spurs beat us last time round. Hopefully we can get revenge. This time round, we all know Harry Kane will be chomping at the bit to be playing Leicester again. It's a club that he has scored the most goals against in his career. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can actually keep him out this time. But yeah, we'll talk about the match preview. We're joined by Harry from Scarfey, Spurs Talk. He'll be giving me the opposition side of things from Tottenham and what to expect from them. He'll give me his team selection, score prediction, all that. We'll talk about foot in both camps. We'll talk about Spurs' season so far, and we'll talk about Harry's thoughts on Leicester. And yeah, much more to talk about. So join me for this. Smash a like for me if you enjoy the stream. As always, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. We are 5 away from 1.2k, so if we can get to 1.2k, that'd be fantastic. So let's get this match preview on the road, shall we? And I'll see you in just a minute. Hi all, welcome to the final whistle for match preview night then. It's Leicester taking on Spurs in the Premier League this weekend. The Foxes, can they back up the result against Villa? That is the question. The Foxes went out last weekend and won 4-2 at Villa Park in a 6-goal thriller. This time we play a very tough Tottenham side who have confidence going into this game after beating a very good Manchester City. I'll be joined by Harry very shortly. If you can, hit a like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get a few comments in first. Great. How are you, darling? Hope you're well. Thank you for the 449 sticker. You didn't have to, of course. Go and treat yourself. Great. Go and treat yourself with it. You don't have to pay me. Hi all. Hello, Terry. How are you? Where's mine? I don't know. That's great. My 449. Terry, he might buy you a pint next time he sees you, mate. So hold him to that one. Right, let's get my guest in. Tonight I will be joined by tonight's guest, Scarfey Spurs Talk. So he'll be joining me round about now. Harry, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
No, appreciate it, mate. So, Harry, tell everyone what you do and where they can find you, mate, firstly.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm Harry. I'm the founder of Scarfey Spurs Talk, which is basically fan channel and like a hub, for example, like on Twitter, like asking the fan base questions, keeping up to date with transfer news, all things like that. And I'm also the co-host for Park Lane Podcast as well, which you might have seen me from as well.
Yeah, but where can everyone find you on the socials, Harry? People who are not Spurs supporters, but neutral football supporters.
You can find me on all socials. Scarfey Spurs Talk. We've got my personal tag there, Harry Scarf 22, on all socials, most actively on YouTube or Twitter.
Right then, Harry, let's get on to the first part of the show then. Thoughts on your season so far, Harry? You're 5th in the table. Spurs are in them European places where they'd like to be. They're not in the Champions League places where the target is for Antonio Conte at this minute in time. Talk to me about your season so far, mate. How's it going?
It's been a bit up and down. I think we're in a better place now. And the reality is, still in the, through to fifth round of the FA Cup, but still in the Champions League round of 16, and we're 5th in the league and still get top 4. So overall, we're in a good position at the moment, but it's been dips up and down form. At times we haven't been great this season. Sometimes I expected better, but right now I think we're in a good place going into this game.
Talk to me about your predictions for Spurs at the start of the season, Harry. Where did you see Spurs finishing?
I hope that we could. I never really thought that we'd be in a title race, but I thought we'd be maybe finish third or fourth. I hope we get a cup run like we have in the FA Cup. But to be honest with you, at times this season I probably expected better. Like I don't expect to slip up to the likes of Villa at home, games like that. So I probably expected us to be better, and I didn't expect Arsenal to do the double over us. So there's times where I thought we would do better. I had higher expectations going into the season, but as I said, right now I think we are in a better place than we were a couple of weeks ago.
And how has Antonio Conte found his time at Tottenham, Harry? Have you been happy with his time at Tottenham? Let me know.
I've been happy with his time at Tottenham. I think we've made progress where he took over last season, a difficult position, got us Champions League football. A few struggles this season. I don't think we had to see that coming. We're not as good this season as we were. Yeah, not as good as we were last season, but he's taken us, I think, quite far from where he took over, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm fully behind him. Some fans will say win a trophy, so hopefully we can win something like the FA Cup. But, yeah, I'm overall happy with his time so far. Just hope we can get that trophy.
Talk to me about Antonio Conte. There's been quite a lot of speculation that he'll be leaving Spurs at the end of the summer. Is any truth in that Antonio Conte will be leaving Tottenham at the end of the season?
Yeah, I've got a feeling he probably might leave in the summer. He's had difficult experiences at home, like his health and losing a few different friends. He's had a tough time, really. So it's always a possibility, I think, that he can leave in the summer, but it'd be great to see him sign a new deal, like with Harry Kane as well. You've got as well who desperately does need to sign a contract. So you've got a few questions there, but I hope that this good patch of form will interest Kane and Conte to perhaps sign a new contract. I hope. I can't see it, being honest, but I do hope.
If Conte is to leave, which they think he will do at the end of the season, there's been talk of Pochettino. Obviously, you know Pochettino well. He did well at Tottenham, got him to a Champions League final. Is Poch somebody that Spurs would want to re-sign as manager again? Is that something what you're looking at in Pochettino to take over again? Or who would you want if it wasn't Pochettino, Harry, and Conte was to leave at the end of the season, mate?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, I said, I'm happy with Conte. I would take Pochettino, but there's managers out there that I like, for example, Thomas Frank. But what the club have got to be clear about is you've either got to go with elite managers like Mourinho and Conte and back them and try and win that trophy, or go with someone like Graham Potter, even someone like Ryan Mason, and go more youth-based and more time-based and less money invested. So the club have got to be clear on that, because it's no good hiring elite managers like Mourinho and Conte and not backing them. That's where there's a bit of confusion. We're a bit in the middle as a club at the moment. We kind of get these world-class managers, but don't back them. It doesn't make sense, and they're not going to win a trophy if they're not supplied with the right tools.
Are you passed publicly, mate? We beat you in 2 phones. You don't even know football history. I don't know who's talking to there. It must be someone in the comments somewhere. Obviously, Spurs won the double, didn't they, in 61-62, I believe it was. Won the Carabao Cup in 2008 when Jamie O'Hara was there. They haven't won a major trophy since, unless you want to talk about the Audi Cup, of course. But the Audi Cup is not really relevant. It's like when we won the pre-season trophy, isn't it? It's not really a trophy you want to win.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to be a more major sort of trophy winning side, don't you? You want to be looking at the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League, Champions League, them sort of trophies. Yeah.
100%.
Harry, talk to me about the last game then. Obviously, you beat Manchester City 1-0. Manchester City went into the game with not great form, playing Tottenham in recent games at the Lane. Surely that gave you confidence, didn't it, Harry, them sort of stats? But then they can be a bit dubious, can't they, when they talk about stats like that, that Man City haven't beat Spurs for a while at the Lane. Talk to me about the game in general, Harry, and how did it feel to beat Manchester City 1-0, pal?
It's always a good feeling. It seems a bit of a sticky patch for them coming to our new stadium. I think it's always been a problem for them, Tottenham away, for whatever reason. So it was good, obviously, hearing those stats going into the game, but always had that worry that those stats could that can change. There's always that possibility. City are a fantastic team with world-class players. I think City went into that game not in the best of place. Got players like Cancelo, but unexpectedly left. Pep's trialing new things like leaving De Bruyne on the bench, which we've never seen before. Yes, something new, isn't it? But yeah, I thought the performance was really good and we done really well. And in my opinion, I think we deserved the win. I think we defended well and we looked more like the team we were last season, which got us top 4.
And Harry Kane himself got the highest ever Tottenham goal scorer now, isn't he? Beating Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah.
How did it feel seeing Harry Kane then become top scorer at Tottenham?
It's fantastic. I was there. There's a fantastic atmosphere, fantastic reception. You can tell with a smile on his face, absolutely delighted. It's a big record becoming Tottenham's all-time top scorer. It was brilliant to be there. I can say to future kids or grandkids, I was there. I witnessed Kane break the record. And you've got to remember, nobody thought that record of the late Jimmy Greaves would ever be broken, but it has now been broken. So I can't see Kane's record being broken, but it's a fantastic achievement.
Talk to me about Harry Kane. Manchester City was going to pay £150 million for him not long ago in one of the summer transfer windows. They opted to go to Erling Haaland instead. Talk to me about the summer then. What do you think is going to happen with Spurs, obviously transfer-wise? Well, Harry Kane, obviously there's been reports of linking him to Chelsea with Aubameyang going to the MLS. Chelsea haven't found a striker. There's talks of him to Chelsea. Do you think you'll lose Harry Kane in the summer, Harry? Obviously, Man United are sniffing around as well. So do you think it could be the capability for Tottenham in the summer to either keep or sell Harry Kane?
Yeah, obviously City went for him last summer, didn't they? And they didn't quite get him. I'm glad we did keep him. But I think there's always a possibility that he could leave. I think this is his last opportunity to leave in the summer. I do think this is his last opportunity this summer. So yeah, but as much as I'd love to build a team around him, it's got to that point where if you get 90, even 100 million for him, perhaps get the money and invest in positions that we need, for example, defence. I'd love to keep him, but I can't see him going anywhere other than England. I'm sure he wants to break Shearer's record. So, and I can see him, the only club I can see him going to England in is probably Man United. If you think about it, it makes sense. Haven't got that proper centre forward. I can't see Weghorst being their permanent number 9, if you like, from next season. So yeah, there's that fear, but I think a lot of what Kane decides to do depends on like Conte's future and the where the club are in the summer, because things at Tottenham change so quickly.
Obviously, with Harry Kane, he scored quite a number of goals. He wants to obviously catch Alan Shearer's record, but he also wants to win trophies, doesn't he? Obviously, he hasn't won a trophy. Major trophy yet, but he deserves to. And I think Harry Kane's a good striker, isn't he? He's a goal scorer, he's a presence, and he knows where the goal is. And the thing with Harry Kane, you wouldn't blame him leaving Tottenham in the summer if he wanted to, because you've got to think the guy wants to win trophies, and he wants to win trophies as well as scoring goals.
Yeah, I won't have a problem with him leaving in the summer. Hold my hands up. Be forever grateful for what he's done, and fans, have got to get behind him and respect that, because becoming Tottenham's all-time top scorer has carried us a lot of the times. I don't like to say that we are the Harry Kane team, but sometimes this season and a lot of the seasons before, we have been reliant on him, and that is just a fact. So obviously, it'd be sad to lose him, but obviously you can't. He deserves to be winning trophies, so you can't blame him for wanting to do that, and he's been really loyal to Tottenham, so I don't have a problem with that.
I agree. Right then, Harry, let's go on to the game, pal. Leicester City versus Spurs. Let's have a look at the head-to-head then in all competition. You guys have won 61 times. We beat you 37 times, 21 draws between the two sides. You guys have got a massive win percentage over us, which is always good if you're a Tottenham fan. It's not if you're a Leicester supporter looking at them stats. Then let's talk about the last meeting then in the Premier League. A 6-2 win for Tottenham. Tielemans scored in the opening minutes from the penalty spot.
He started well.
And Harry Kane scored, which it wasn't a surprise to Leicester fans that Harry Kane scored. We were always waiting for that sort of moment to happen. Then Maddison scored that great goal at the other end to take it 2-2 at half time. And then Leicester fell apart. Benson Kerr scored. And then the man Son hadn't scored all season, had he? He hadn't really been banging the goals in. And then there's Leicester, 3 goals for Son when he comes on the pitch. And what a performance. There's some great goals to watch of Son completing that hat-trick. But talk to me about the game in general in the 6-2 win, because from a Leicester fan perspective, we were fuming in that way. And
Yeah, I completely understand that. And obviously, for you guys, it's frustrating when you've got Son, who hadn't scored at all coming into that game all season, been really, really poor, and comes off the bench and scores a hat-trick in the second half unexpectedly, and scoring going to our stadium, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and scoring 2 goals of a club like Leicester isn't bad. And that's where you need your defence to do their bit. For me personally, I think like some Maddison, done their job, getting 2 goals, but you've got the defence. For me, it's got to do better. And always, the game between Leicester and Tottenham are always high-scoring games. I think that's because both our defences aren't very good, and our attacks are both good. So it's to get that balance. They're always high-scoring games.
Yeah, Harry. Before we move on to the actual game itself, what's your thoughts on Leicester? I mean, we're 14th in the table. Had a lot of injuries for 3 consecutive seasons now. We've been having players out like Maddison and players like that. Obviously, Vardy's been on the treatment table as well over the last few seasons. And it's been a bit downward spiral this season for Leicester, obviously losing your key players and that. We've had to go with what we've got. And what was your thoughts on Leicester, and where did you predict Leicester to finish, Harry, this season?
Well, going into the season, once that transfer window had ended, start of the season, looked at that and you didn't get much investment at all, did you? Very few signings. I think only one, maybe 2, and no important players. I think that's because of the investment before. So credit Brendan Rodgers, what he got. I think where you are now is probably roughly bearing look at your squad where you probably should be. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most Leicester fans would take a mid-table finish this season. It's just, because it was earlier in the season and proper in a relegation fight. So for Leicester, I think the aim's got to be, getting out of that relegation like scrap. I'm not necessarily saying they're in it, but they're too close to it. So
we are
building that gap to like 10-15 points away from that relegation area, and then maybe even trying to get top 10. I think that'd be successful for Leicester. But they've got the attacking players, they've got the players to turn the season around, and they've showed positive signs recently. It was late against Villa.
Yep. Harry Kane's going to Leicester when Vardy retires. Might actually have a chance of winning something. That's from Janelle Hopper. Harry Kane will not sign for Leicester again. We had him on loan, which was a very long time ago. I remember he's a very young Harry Kane playing for Leicester. But yeah, Leicester, it's been a frustrating season. Obviously, Maddison's been out with a knee injury since the World Cup, and it's been a struggle, but now he's back. Obviously, he played against Brighton, coming off the bench, scored against Villa, played a full 90 minutes. I think with Leicester, we're getting our injured key players back. Obviously, with Vardy now, he's 36, and you're thinking, how long has he got left in the tank? Obviously, Vardy's prolific goal scoring. He knows where the goal is, but there's a time when it's times to take a kind of a reshuffle, if you get me. I think when Vardy retires, it'd be a sad day for obviously Leicester fans, and Vardy itself, the Premier League losing a striker like Vardy. To sign from Fleetwood for £1 million, it's a massive bargain, isn't it, Harry, to see what Jamie Vardy's achieved?
Yes, it was a massive bargain, wasn't it? And Vardy, we talk about what Kane's done for Tottenham. I mean, you must ignore what Vardy's done for Leicester. I mean, obviously, he's got to that age now where he can't play 90 minutes every game. So if Leicester use him, Brendan Rodgers used him in the right way, off the bench, coming on and getting those goals or having involvements in attacking play for Leicester. If he's using the right way, he can be, certainly until the end of the season, be very useful. But, he's done a lot for Leicester and has been a very important player for Leicester. And I can understand, obviously, when he retires, it'd be a sad day for Leicester.
Here's one I want to ask you then, Harry. Which Leicester players would get in the Spurs squad?
Right now,
who would you
Maddison.
take?
I'd take Maddison probably any day. Maddison and Tielemans, I would say. Those two, I would say.
Are they your key ones?
Yeah, my key ones for me are, players that I've liked. I mean, I think our midfield isn't bad, but someone like Tielemans, that creative spark. Maddison, one of my favourite players in the Premier League, by the way. I think it's fantastic what he does, and we don't have a player like that. So, yeah, them two for me would get in the Spurs team right now.
Yeah, but here's the last 5 meetings at the King Power Stadium then. 2 wins for us and 3 wins for you lot. Obviously, last season, Talk to me about last season's game. That was the last time we played Spurs. Leicester led 2-1, and then Bergwijn comes on, and then, within a minute, Spurs scored 2 goals. Talk to me about that game. Talk to me about the seeds.
Yeah, it's a great for Spurs fans. Obviously, that ending. I mean, going for the point, sitting there thinking, "Oh, Joe, we've lost." To the point, going, we take a point, and then ended up getting all 3 points. But it must be so frustrating for you guys, Leicester fans, not to hold on. 3-2.
Expected, wasn't it?
Yeah, in added time, and I mean, all you have to do. I think you were too high at that point, and some sloppy passes.
Telemans gave it away, and that you're in.
Yeah, and it's experience and a good player, very good player. I like in Tielemans doing that. You wouldn't expect that from him, but perhaps a bit of tiredness. But that's about game management. And if Leicester get in the situation, they've got to make sure that they do see the game out. They do go ahead, and that's how you do it against big teams. That's how you get the goal, or you're winning towards the end, and you grind out the result. And that's what Leicester had to do.
Yeah, the defence fell apart. Vestergaard came on, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Very true, scores 2, and you're thinking, nah. I don't know. It ended. It was like a flash before your eyes sort of situation.
So quick.
And then the kick off, and that was it. I was like, 3-2.
Yeah.
I was mad. We're done after that game. It's one of the most. You call it one of the most best moments in football, wouldn't you? Like for drama wise.
Yeah. So unexpected, definitely drama to go into the point where Leicester 2-1 up. You had the ball, and we no signs of us getting back into the game. I mean, and then we scored. Oh, take the point! And I was jumping for joy with the point, seriously, because we weren't great in the game, and to get the point in added time, I would have taken it. So go and get all 3 points. I mean, right drama, and that's up there for one of the games of the season in terms of drama.
Every Spurs-Leicester game hinges on a single turning point in every game, except that 5-4 Spurs win at Wembley. I remember that. Ian Nacho scored a cracker, David.
I went to that.
Leicester went ahead in that game as well.
That's a crazy game.
Some crazy games between Leicester and Spurs. There's always seems to be a lot of goals between the two sides.
It always seems to be a lot of goals.
2-1. It's always big vent of goals.
Yeah, I think if you just look at both teams' attacks, like we talked about Vardy and Kane, I mean, that's, I think, where the goals come from. You've got the likes of Maddison, and for us, you've got Son, Kulusevski, and you've got Harvey Barnes as well. Don't forget, you've got both teams. I think our attacks are right up there in the league, very, very strong. But you look at both our defences, and they're not, I don't think either of them are that great. And that's the reality. That's why so many goals are let in.
Harry, let's talk about foot in both camps before we get your thoughts on the game. Do you know any of these players? Obviously, going to know Harry Kane, aren't you? He's on loan at Leicester. Obviously, since leaving Leicester, he's become Tottenham's all-time top scorer. Gary Lineker played for both sides. Casey Keller as well, goalkeeper. And then you've got Soles Ferdinand, Ian Walker, and I think Kyle Norton played for you lot as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did, Yes, that's right.
Are there any more you can mention, Harry?
Probably not, to be fair. Going into the ones I knew were Kane. Thatcher. Yeah, Kane, Lineker, and Ian Walker, like you said. They're probably the 3.
Yep. Harry, then let's get your thoughts on the game. Don't give me your score as of yet, but talk to me ahead of the game. Then, what's your thoughts as a Spurs fan, and what can we expect?
Nervous. I never like going to King Power. I think it's a tough place to go. Leicester fans to get behind their team, and I know how good Leicester's attack are and the support. I think Leicester at their best, they're a very, very good team. It can give any team in the Premier League a real game. And I worry looking at our defence and looking at your attack, and I just think if we don't turn up like we don't usually in the first half, then we could be in trouble. And I'd be honest with you, I'll actually take the point.
You take the point. From a Leicester fan perspective, I think we looked at Spurs' game. I mean, the form before the Aston Villa game, going into 2023, and the way we played, and that we're thinking, looking at Spurs, Man United, Arsenal, them big games, and we're thinking, how many points are we going to get here then? And then we got the big win against Villa, which was our first win for 2023 in the Premier League.
Good win.
It gave us a massive boost of confidence, winning 4-2. Tete was terrific that day. Tillemans, Maddison, good to see them play well in that game. Harvey Barnes turned up, Christensen, Suter. Iheanacho, obviously, he's now that number one striker. Obviously, Vardy, I think he'll be on the bench. But it'd be a game that Leicester need to go and back up that win from the Villa game. We need to go and take the game to Spurs. We know Spurs' vulnerabilities and where their weaknesses are. Obviously, they've got a strong point in front with Kulevetsky, Kane, Son. We know the threat that you guys offer, and especially Harry Kane, who loves a goal against the Foxes. I believe he's got 18 goals in the last 14 he's faced us. So, it'll be a tough game at the King Power Stadium against Spurs. I think it'll be a game full of goals, and I think it'll be an entertaining watch for a 3:00 kickoff. Is there any players you will be watching out for then? Obviously, Tete was being linked with Spurs in January, obviously, when you didn't sign Zaniolo. Who's you wants to watch then, Harry, for tomorrow's game from a Leicester perspective?
James Maddison, for me, like I highlighted earlier, always a pleasure to watch. I love what he does. I think he's such a creative and exciting player. There's not many about people try and say, there's lots of James Maddisons. I don't think there is. So, he's always one to watch out for. But for a Leicester point of view, if you keep Kane quiet, then, you have a big chance personally, because we have other players who have to step up. And that it doesn't often happen in a Spurs team. So if you keep Kane quiet, and you defend well, and the game's management is better, then you have a big chance. But obviously, I think it could be high scoring because both teams like to score. But James Maddison for me is the player that I'll always be watching out for, and I have who always have huge respect for, because I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah, I think he's assisted the most in the league from a midfielder, an English midfielder, James Maddison. So it shows how good Maddison is. Obviously, the really big clubs will come calling in the summer, knowing he's got a year left on his contract. Man U, Man City, and teams like that. So he'll relish that. Obviously, a good player like Maddison, we wouldn't be pissed off if he left, because he deserves it. He deserves that moment to go on and progress in his career, if that's what we want to call it.
What price tag would you put him up for?
I'm not sure. Probably 70 million pound.
Yeah, see, if I was Spurs, I'd pay that.
Newcastle tried offering us 40 million quid.
Yeah, that's a
cheapskate. Man City tried taking him on loan in January, so that just proves, like, what are you doing, mate? You actually want him or you don't. So
exactly. Yeah.
I think it'll be the ones I look out for tomorrow. Will be Kane, Son, Kulevetsky, and players like that who are really lethal when it comes to attacking for Spurs. They're some great players, and I'm looking forward to it. You too. Good luck after tomorrow.
Thank you.
But I think that's from Dan. Talk to me about team selection, and Harry, how are Spurs going to line up, mate? What formation are you going to play?
Of course, it's a very good question. Obviously, I think Conte's back, isn't he, on the touchline? So I expect it to be, the usual. Like 3-4-3, if you like, I expect. But I believe, I think you've got Lloris, who's injured now. We've got, Basuma, who's injured. Romero suspended. So it'll be obviously a slightly different team. I'm assuming with Fraser Forster in goal. I'm assuming like the likes of Sanchez will replace Romero. Apart from that, I think the team will be similar. Always interesting one to see is who plays left centre-back for Spurs. For me, Davis has it just about over Lenglet. Fullbacks is another one. I don't know if we will see Porro start. I expect to see Perisic to start on the left, but it'd be interesting to see if Emerson or Porro starts. I expect to see Emerson and Porro to be introduced from the bench. But obviously it's going to be a slightly changed team with suspensions and injuries. It'd be interesting to see, because nobody really knows at the moment.
No. Here's my team for Leicester. Danny Ward, Castaños, Harry Suter, Wout Faes, Christensen, Barnes, Tillemans, Dewsbury Hall, Tete, Maddison, Iheanacho. I think it'll be the same team what played Villa and beat Villa 4-2. So I don't think we'll make any changes. I don't think we need to.
Good team. It's good
So,
attacking players in there.
yeah, hopefully they'll score some threat to Spurs' defence. It's Spurs' defence what let you down, isn't it, Harry? I think that's where Leicester look at it as well. The attack's good and decent enough to do the job going forward. It's when it comes to the other side of the pitch and it comes to the defensive side of things.
Yeah, for the first time in a while, we'd actually defended well against City, but usually we don't defend well. And if we defend well, there's always an individual error. And I think Leicester look really good going forward. And whenever they play, whether they score a lot of goals or not, or they score no goals, they always look dangerous. Never watch a game where Leicester don't look dangerous. You know, they're always very good going forward. And we always have a mistake in us. There's always that fear. I mean, we've got to defend well. I mean, against the likes of Maddison, Vardy probably coming off the bench, Barnes, Tielemans, there's talent there, and we just can't afford to make mistakes against those quality players.
Yeah. Last one is then, Harry. Score prediction, mate.
I'm going 1-1 and I'll take it. I'll take 1-1 draw.
You take a point.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a point.
Any particular goal scorer?
I'm going to go with we take the lead through Kane and Vardy comes off the bench to snatch an equaliser.
Jamie Vardy loves the goal against the Spurs.
He does. Important
Harry,
player.
Quickly tell me where everyone can find you then for people who's just tuned in.
Thank you very much. I'm Harry. My personal account is there. You can find me on all socials, most actively on Twitter. I'm the founder of Scarfey Spurs Talk, which is like a fan channel and like an independent hub for Spurs fans. You know, transfer news, questions for the fans, but it's also other fans, and you're more than welcome to answer the questions I put out on the content I do. Currently working on my YouTube channel, developing content, and I'm also the co-host of Park Lane Podcast every Saturday as well, which you might see me from. So that's where you can find me. Cheers.
Cheers, Harry. Thank you for coming on, mate, and good luck after the season after tomorrow, pal.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Harry from Scarfey Spurs Talk. Great guest tonight. Right, I'm going 3-2 to Leicester. 3-2 to Leicester. Maddison, Tete, and Nacho is going to score for Leicester. I'm going to go for Kane and Son to score for Tottenham. So I'm going 3-2. 3-2 to Leicester. Good stream. 2-0 Leicester. Castagno looks a weakness defensively. You've gone 3-2 Spurs, David. Good luck, pal. Always love going up to the John Smiths when LCFC. Great crowd. Brilliant work, Harry. Yeah, great guest. Guys, you know what time it is. If you've enjoyed the stream, please smash a like on it for me. It'd be really much appreciated. Let's get the numbers up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you're new to the channel tonight. Please hit the subscribe button. It'd be appreciated as always. What is coming up on the final whistle then? So we've got the match day vlog this weekend as Leicester take on Spurs. We've obviously got the match day vlog as well for the Barclays WSL, as I'll be travelling to Prenton Park as Liverpool women take on Leicester City women on Sunday. So go and give that a watch as well. Fingers crossed it could be a double victory for Leicester City this weekend then. Then we've got the match review from Leicester versus Spurs. Hopefully it's positive to talk about again. Hopefully we can go back up that win from Aston Villa and really go at Spurs tomorrow and really give them a game and go and get them points to get us away from that relegation battle. And then we've obviously got the Premier League predictions as well. Then we've got the match preview for Manchester United versus Leicester City next week as well. So busy on the final whistle. You know how it is. You guys make this channel. Thank you for everyone who gets involved week in, week out. And I really appreciate all the support. So thank you so much. Cheers, Jack. Good luck for the rest of the season after tomorrow. Yeah. Time to watch Mark play for West Brom. Yeah. I believe they've got Birmingham. So I guess all Brighton will relish that being an Aston Villa supporter. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. This is Jack from the Final Whistle saying have a good rest of the evening, everyone, whatever you're doing. And come on the City tomorrow. Up the Foxes.